in football, in this thing that we've invested so much time following, he's the best we've seen. And to know that that might be ending, this might be the last time we see him, I think that's almost unimaginable.
It's the best player in the history. One thing missing from me was the World Cup.
This was it, really, for him.
He knew that it was probably the last big shot at the World Cup. A dream that's been elusive over so many years.
Argentina are out.
That's the World Cup for Messi. It's destiny.
What a world, there's a new number 10. It is France who've won through to the World Cup quarter-finals.
In terms of delivering a World Cup, the Football Association had a single objective: find a manager that could work with Messi. Argentina has a wonderfully kind of varied relationship between national team and manager, but usually the manager has quite a protagonic role as some sort of personality or character, whether it's Menotti chain smoking and being intellectual, or Bilardo being ridiculously strict, Passarella being authoritarian, or Basile being incredibly kind of libertarian. But Scaloni's almost like we didn't really know that much about him when he arrived. Most people were furious and against his appointment because it felt like that job should go to a character. And it just went to, you know, a guy who was sort of anonymous.
He brought togetherness in the group. That's the hardest part to manage Argentina, because you always are gonna have talented players. It's how to manage them. It's like having a Ferrari, and if you don't know how to drive it, then you're gonna crash in every corner. That's the only explanation that I can give to Scaloni. He knows exactly how to drive a Ferrari.
Es una persona que sabe muy bien nuestra filosofía como país, logró rodear bien a Leo y bueno, lo hizo sentir bien. Y cuando vos tenés al mejor jugador del mundo que se siente bien, es todo mucho más fácil.
O nuestra selección venía por ahí mal llamado de pensar que porque tenemos al mejor jugador del mundo tenés que ganar todo. Y el fútbol es un juego realmente de equipo. En un momento muy difícil, la dirección técnica de la selección mayor, y ahí nos dio la posibilidad de poder realmente ver que en él teníamos el técnico de la selección argentina que todos queríamos y que soñábamos.
And it all starts with a conversation that Scaloni had with Messi. What do you want to do? What kind of players should we have? What would it work for you? I think it could be this, but what do you think? And it was an equal conversation. And you have to do that when you've got the best player in the world. You have to do that.
Es el jugador más competitivo que he visto y bueno, es fácil convencer a un jugador así. Y más sabiendo que tiene detrás un grupo de jugadores que dejarían todo porque él gane, ¿no?
But he had a clear idea that they had connected, Scaloni and Leo, in a way that I don't think managers in the past have done that.
That has the whole football world talking.
It was a very complex day. 3 days, 4 days earlier, he was crying. He didn't want to leave Barcelona. You could sense that he was a little bit out of place. The psychological effects of a change like that are huge.
have to leave one place that you've been for so long, it's not just about a football team, but it's also about your friends and your family, your kids. Surely it was tough. But of course, then the pressure was there. As you can see on the pitch, its first season probably was not how Messi expected to be.
For little by little, at the end of that first season, everything was clicking. He was flying in Europe, he was flying in League One, and with Argentina, it was working so well because everybody understood we want Leo to be the World Cup winner. So he went to Qatar, well ready.
Sonrían, loco, lo estamos firmando. Sonrían, sonrían. Lo estamos filmando. Sonrían. Hola, papi.
Heading into Qatar, it's the first time for a long time I think Argentina got into a World Cup as either favourites or second favourites.
Hola, mi rey.
And they're on this 36-game unbeaten run. They'd won the Copa America the previous year, and that was hugely significant because they hadn't won a senior tournament since 1993. The curse was lifted.
The team before the World Cup been in an incredible run. And I think we all had that feeling that, we're going to go into the World Cup and we're going to smash every single team. I think even for Messi, this World Cup was special, and he wanted to win this World Cup at all costs. Like, no, I want to leave everything on the pitch. I want to carry this team to the final again. I cannot miss that chance.
In his own words, Lionel Messi begins the journey to win the World Cup at the fifth and final time of asking.
It was like the last chance, the last dance about the World Cup. So I think that Messi was feeling like confidence. He know what he wants. Argentina were like expecting good results, were with a lot of hope in this team. They thought that this could be the chance.
Argentina in control, in the lead, courtesy of a Lionel Messi penalty.
Saudi Arabia looked like an ideal team to kick off the campaigning style. But we got nervous. The players started to panic.
Al-Malki's ball through. Al-Shiri has equalised for Saudi Arabia.
They did the impossible.
Al-Abid, and they're all at sea. Suddenly here, Argentina, and they're now behind.
You know, in a boxing match, they knock you out. And we couldn't react. We lost the fight.
It was an extraordinary match, really. Saudi Arabia had some incredible energy and were absolutely kicking lumps out of the Argentinian players right throughout, including Messi. And, you know, what did they have? About 3 shots, I think, in the whole game, but managed an incredible victory.
It's one of the World Cup all-time shocks.
After the game, we were all in shock. The players were in shock. Argentina got to Qatar without conceding many goals, and suddenly we conceded 2 against, the Saudis.
This is one of the greatest World Cup shocks in history. For those fans in the white and blue of Argentina, total disbelief.
It put a huge dampener, I would expect, in Argentinian hopes, having gone into the tournament so confident and then to lose against one of the weakest nations in the tournament.
It meant to be easy, you know, it meant to be like just carry on what we were doing. It was the hardest night of my life after that. I couldn't sleep. was afraid of getting knocked out in my first World Cup. I was afraid of why it's happening.
I think we all needed like feet on the ground, lads, you know, like this is the World Cup, anything can happen.
Then I saw Leo coming out and speaking to every single broadcaster.
Stop everywhere.
Repeating the same sentence. Stick with us.
We paran this.
We're not gonna let you down. Stick with us.
We paran this.
We're not gonna let you down. Stick with us.
We paran this.
We're not gonna let you down. Wow, I said, wow. When things didn't go our way in the past, Leo will look sad and look down. But this time was a different Leo, you know? He was the first one to believe.
One of the main strengths of that team is how they came through those moments.
After that, Scaloni gave a press conference saying, look, it's only a game. My brother's been calling, weeping, everyone's weeping, and really, we all need to kind of turn it down a notch.
La historia dice que mañana gane o pierda, la vida sigue y no te cambia la vida por perder o ganar. Siempre es mejor pensar en positivo y pensar que es un partido de fútbol. Te va a dejar jugar más tranquilo, que creo que es lo que necesitaban estos chicos.
Bueno, siempre Leo y el cuerpo técnico tuvieron las palabras justas primero para con la prensa, con la gente y después para con nosotros. Como vos decís, para nosotros o para cualquier equipo los líderes son muy importantes y qué mejor que tener un líder como Leo, ¿no?
Lo único que hizo fue necesitar ganar los siguientes dos partidos.
The population was on tenterhooks for any tidbit of mood and emotional well-being of the squad, because after Saudi Arabia there was such a depleted sense of, oh, we were all so hyped up and now this is going to be over by Saturday.
I think in an odd way, the defeat to Saudi Arabia actually did them good. And I think maybe if you do go unbeaten for that long, complacency is maybe the wrong word, but you lose a bit of a hardness that you need. And obviously, if you've gone 36 games unbeaten, you don't want to change too much. But what it allowed Scaloni to do, after that game, he had to change stuff. And he could bring in McAllister and Alvarez and Fernandez, 3 players in their early 20s, who hadn't been there at the beginning of the run. And the 3 of them were all absolutely critical in terms of getting them on the right tracks.
Scaloni was very proactive to change 2 or 3 players to go into this must-win game. 1 mistake and you go home.
Every minute could have been the last minute. This reflected in an incredible sense that it was all or nothing.
We lose, we out.
They were bad in the first half against Mexico. You could see all the doubts that had been there in that last half hour against the Saudis, all the same problems, everybody very anxious.
I was sat next to Simeone, and I will never forget that half-time. We look at each other thinking, oh, that's going to be tough. You could really see that the tension was there.
You could hold it and break it. It was there, it was obvious, it was touchable. It was such a poor performance that you thought, it's too young a team. Maybe they just don't know how to deal with this pressure.
Creo que fue un momento bastante importante del Mundial.
But at half-time, Messi again gave everybody confidence because he said, we can do this. We're not playing well here, but it's about winning. We can do this. I mean, we're better than them.
I'm sure that we're going to win, but you need to wait for someone to give them the ball and produce a moment of magic.
The World Cup turns on Messi getting half a yard space, if that. He has to do it. There's nobody else to do it.
Messi for Rage! Argentina save it!
It was a moment of relief.
celebrating like I was playing again.
Suddenly, the weight is lifted. The threat of going out in the group stage is lifted. And I think this time the supporting cast, particularly the three younger players, McAllister, Alvarez and Fernandes, were able to step up and support him.
Scaloni, he understood that this could be Messi's last World Cup. So I need a group of players surrounded Messi. Every one of them has to work 120% for Messi, because when he's on the ball, he has to make the difference for that. I think he was really clever on that. They were running almost twice as much for Messi.
There were so many similarities to this Argentinian team to the one that I played against in '86 with Maradona. Not many superstars, but much better than people give them credit for. You've got McAllister, who came out of nowhere. You've got Alvarez. They were tough at the back and had Martinez in goal. So I think the young players had to step up, and their work ethic was exemplary.
It shouldn't take that long to realise that when you've got a genius, you've got to treat him differently. But in football, there is big egos. And the guys that you take into the national side are the geniuses of their teams. So try to tell them now to actually, can you put that down? Because there's only one that is a genius here. In the past, that didn't work because there were big players that wanted to make their impact and did not want to hand over total authority to one person. But you're talking about players in this group that admire Messi, that felt the responsibility of getting Messi and them, but first Messi, his first World Cup.
And Scaloni saw that. Have Julian Alvarez, I got McAllister, I got Enzo Fernandez, that when I gave them a chance, oh, they were incredible.
The eyes of the world firmly fixed on Lionel Messi. He carries his country's hopes of progression again. Szczesny denies Lionel Messi.
Against Poland, when Messi misses the penalty, it's fine. He was in such a perfect mental state that once Mexico was won, it was like, we're going to be fine. And he felt in that game that it was when the youngsters kind of stood up and said, we can be counted.
Y sobre todo el desparpajo, la caradurez que tienen futbolística, la personalidad que tienen, no importarle el ambiente que se está jugando, y eso para nosotros fue clave.
Who would have thought a Brighton player would be a key player in the World Cup? Nobody in England, nobody in Argentina. Probably not McAllister himself.
La verdad que llegué físicamente y mentalmente en un momento muy bueno de mi carrera, con mucha confianza.
Before the World Cup, Alexis was not in the starting 11. But the important thing in Alexis, I think, that he could help in a lot of roles. Was a very good player in the perfect moment.
He's a complete midfielder. He was doing everything for that team. The link up with Messi, Enzo, Alexis was incredible with Di Maria. Like they've been playing together for, I don't know, 5, 6 years.
Le sumó algo que hasta ese momento no conocíamos, que era que no le quemaba la pelota, que no le importaba la situación que estaba jugando y que en el momento del partido iba a jugar como si estuviera jugando en su casa.
Que ellos me liberen para poder estar con mi selección fue muy importante para mí. Y obviamente sabemos la historia, sabemos que estuvo cerca de jugar esa copa, sobre todo en los momentos finales donde la lista no se sabía si estaba o no estaba, entonces me pidió más que nada que en ese momento deje todo para poder estar, porque estar en un mundial es algo único. Quizás todo pasó muy rápido y era algo que no lo esperaba. Para mí es una oportunidad muy grande el haber podido jugar una Copa del Mundo, ¿no?
Alexis McAllister of Brighton had his first ever international goal, and what a time to score it!
Para mí un día y un momento muy especial, el poder estar ahí, el poder anotar mi primer gol con la camiseta de la selección, mirar a la tribuna y ver a mi familia. Como vos decís, hubo muchos momentos especiales, pero ese fue uno quizás de los más importantes.
The team was not Messi dependent. We had other options. If the opposition just put 2 players on Messi or 3 players on Messi, then that would create more space for other players. The respect that Messi generate on his teammates create these moments of magic.
Fernandez. Oh, what a hit! Alvarez!
Yo no sabía si iba a estar en la lista o no, obviamente que la ilusión estaba y trabajaba para eso, pero hasta el último momento que se dio a la lista uno no sabe. Polonia me tocó, fue el primer partido como titular y bueno, la posibilidad de hacer un gol obviamente que trae personalmente tranquilidad, confianza y bueno, el grupo también lo necesitaba para la llegada a octavos de final.
Argentina and Lionel Messi's dream of emulating Diego Maradona of 36 years ago is still alive.
After that win against Mexico, then Poland, I think the team were growing, like in confidence. It seems like now I see the Argentina team that I saw before the World Cup.
I don't know if I can explain what happened with this team. I think that sometimes some magical things happen, about people that are there. And I think that Scaloni was one of the most important keys of this team. He understands that was very important, the human part, the family spirit that he creates.
Que lo hicieron toda la perfección y en todo momento nos sentimos como en casa. Las cartas de truco, había de todo, la verdad que más que nada pasábamos, el mate, llevaron hasta carne argentina.
I think for all Argentinian people, if you have mate, truco, and beautiful barbecue, you're so happy. You don't need more. You don't need more in life. And I think these 3 things is something that for us is like a religion.
Y nada, pasábamos el tiempo así.
We used to love the barbecues.
There was much press coverage on the amazing amounts of Argentinian meat that were flown over, 2,000 kilograms of meat.
With 6-7 barbecues.
In 1986, Diego Maradona's dad making the asados is a kind of crucial emblematic part of the family mood of the squad. When Messi did join the Argentina squad that Scaloni had built, the younger players who were a little bit in awe of Messi said, would it be all right to just knock on his bedroom door and say, do you want to drink some mate and play truco? And that's how the ice was broken.
And there are moments that are for the players, only for the players. There is where the magic begins.
We always said we know the most talented national team because we were watching different nations. They had better players and better squad than us, but the togetherness that we had, no one had it.
So Argentina expects, Australia dreams. Down to the business end of the tournament.
And it's a different competition. The stakes are much higher, the jeopardy's much greater, the pressure builds. But that's when the great players come to the fore. That's when you find out who's world class, who's going to stand up.
Australia was one of those games, a bit similar like with Saudi Arabia. We know that we are better than them, we have better players, but be careful, because they don't have nothing to lose.
Messi! It had to be. Just when his country needed him. And the 2-time winners are into the quarterfinals.
In a country with 140% inflation a year, we bring 70,000 people to Qatar. I don't know how, but everybody gets to the World Cups. People mortgage houses, sell assets, get loans, all sorts of things to be there.
Generally speaking, in Argentina, there is a climate of hardship, hyperinflation, there is economic instability. Just before the World Cup kicked off, my brother and his mates did this kind of ad hoc poll asking random people in the street what would they prefer, economic stability or winning the World Cup. Some people were saying, well, economic stability, how long does that last? But the World Cup is forever.
I see this with this team. We were all together with the same energy and we want something all together.
We don't expect football to change anything about the reality, but we all want just this little bit of joy for a bit. The global south, this was the first World Cup ever to take place in summer. So the mood of the squad in Qatar and the people in Argentina was completely in sync throughout the whole tournament. And that's a really odd thing to have happened, but it genuinely did happen.
The sense of belonging with our shirt is very important, and that relationship was repaired from all those years of sadness, losing Copa America finals, Messi's tears, done and dusted, put in the past. And Messi and the team and Scaloni and the fans felt that I think we kind of ready at the right time.
The country, the fans, the players went on this emotional journey. And against the Netherlands, which was a quarter-finals, it was a huge release of pent-up anxiety, hope, dreams.
They've got this history with the Netherlands going back to the 74 World Cup where the Dutch beat them and really humiliated them in 74. But 78, that final, there's a period when the Dutch are left on the pitch alone, so they've got the whole stadium going at them just to intimidate them. And that sort of lingered all the way through. They've got the brilliant quarter-final in 98 when there was 2 red cards. And then in 2014, when Van Gaal, as coach, had De Jong man-mark Messi and marked him out of the game. So yeah, there was a lot of reasons for Argentina to particularly want to win that game.
Estuvo muy claro de que ellos desde el primer minuto intentaron jugar un juego fuera de la cancha que no fue el correcto.
The Dutch said things they provoked. Van Gaal said that they were confident to go into penalties, underestimating Emiliano. And say the worst thing that you can say to Leo is when Argentina defends, they defend with 10 players.
Argentina is a country that loves to find the slight that they can get itself worked up about, to feel the bronca, as they would call it, the inner fury, and they used that.
It fired me up, certainly did, even to Messi as well.
El atacar a Leo, el atacar a Diu, esos son cosas que con los argentinos.
And Leo answered on the pitch.
Messi. Lovely drop of the shoulders, then half a yard of space, back it goes into Melena!
I think you saw in the quarter-final the difference between the Messi of 2022 and 2014. In 2014, you could mark him out of the game because he played a much more orthodox role. By 2022, he was barely involved. He was this sort of sprite existing on the periphery. You can mark a man, you can't mark a ghost.
It's done! It's his tournament! Is it written in the stars?
he celebrates a goal with this gesture, which is a very symbolic goal celebration.
He played the ears to Van Gaal, you know?
I can't hear you. What were you saying? Say it again. In Argentina, we recognize it as being first manifested by Riquelme.
There is an edge to Messi. Leo speaks to Riquelme a lot, and Riquelme still felt badly treated by Louis van Gaal in his time at Barcelona. That was not forgotten. All that is playing in the mind of Leo Messi.
It just kind of grew, the whole net of footballing references that were being suddenly evoked on that one game.
It looked like it was going to be a mundane kind of 2-0 victory. And then in the last few minutes, it just turned.
That's a good ball in, and a very, very good header, and the Dutch are back in it.
They panicked a little bit, Argentina.
Do or die now for the Netherlands. It all comes down to this.
The last free kick, I was next to Ferdinand. I was so nervous because last free kick, you know, let's not consider. And I will never forget Ferdinand filming that free kick.
He scores it, his place is going to go below.
Takes it.
Oh my God! Sava! I couldn't believe it!
Sorry, man, I'm sorry.
I didn't know what to do. I just went to the toilet.
And then it got really intense, didn't it? There was so much aggression out there.
Paredes just kicking the ball to the bench of Holland.
Y bueno, quizás se convirtió en una imagen que ninguno de los dos equipos quería dar dentro de la cancha, pero todo arrancó desde ellos, desde afuera.
Está bien, pero si el rival se pone en guardia, te tenés que poner en guardia. Creo que eso es lo bueno que tuvo este equipo.
I think we like a bit of that, as long as it doesn't go too far, which I don't think it did.
Goes to penalties.
And obviously, the Argentinian goalkeeper is quite a character, and one you absolutely want on your side when you're in a penalty shootout, that's for sure.
We had Emiliano, which is our ace.
It's very difficult to explain what the people feel with him, you know?
Goalkeepers, they have their own personality. They're different to the rest.
He learned straight in Stoke on a Wednesday night, like they say in England, because it's true. Emiliano was sent on loan everywhere, and he became an icon.
He can take the pressure and enjoy it.
That's an amazing piece of goalkeeping.
Well, still having goosebumps.
For me, that was a brilliant moment, and yeah, it was his moment. It was all about him.
And Luce interrupts, and Argentina are in the semi-finals.
Yeah, I was dead on the floor there. Someone hacked me and said, "Oh, I can't believe you just done it again. You saved us again." And then when I look up, it was Leo. Now, just that picture I always have in my heart.
For people that we know Messi from a long time, we all know that he's the leader. Of course, that then, because he's a bit quiet, people think, no, he's not a proper leader. But no, they're wrong. And I think Messi, in that World Cup especially, he was more than that. What we haven't seen before from Messi is those kind of maybe reactions on the pitch. He was always a bit angry.
Messi was showing signs of being quite confrontational.
There's a lot of this, people talking. He goes and talks to Van Gaal and Davids, saying, you've been talking too much, you've been talking too much. It's like, I'm looking at him and I know other people close to him, it's like, wow, Leo, you know.
Él es un ganador nato y no en vano hizo lo que hizo hasta el día de hoy futbolísticamente.
And you can't stay on the level that long that Leo has without being incredibly competitive.
He's a winner. He's a winner.
And then in the tunnel on the way to the changing rooms where he's doing his Argentinian TV post-match, the number 19, as he calls him, walks by and Messi interrupts the live bit to say, anda pa' allá, bobo.
Mira, bobo. ¿Qué mira, bobo?
You go away, you fool, you know.
Anda pa' allá, bobo.
Oh, you silly.
Go away, Bobo.
Anda pa' allá, bobo. Anda pa' allá.
Tranquilo, Leo.
Rosario boy style.
Within hours, there were T-shirts, mugs, fridge magnets.
Anda pa' allá, bobo. Anda pa' allá.
Y bueno, quizás un poco lo que la gente le pedía a Leo, ¿no? No tenía la actitud que ellos querían o que ellos veían de Maradona.
Suddenly everyone among the press there were texting and writing, has Messi been taken over by the spirit of Maradona? At last, finally, Maradona speaks through Messi, and my epiphany was thinking, no. Maradona would have invented a specially obscene and offensive insult specifically for the number 19. It's very mild, bobo. It's the kind of thing someone's grandmother might say.
But for Argentina, that was a sign. That thing that was missing, why they couldn't fully fall in love with Messi. By seeing that, it was like, yeah, he's one of ours.
We are more aggressive probably than the team that he had before in the national team. So he probably becoming a little bit like us, you know, that bad boy.
By the time the Qatar World Cup kicked off, Messi was incredibly comfortable being Messi. For many years, there was enormous pressure on him to perform or be or behave to the expectations of some nebulous demand to be more Argentinian, to be more passionate, to be more like Maradona. But he broke free, whether it's Maradona dying or him being able to leave Barcelona and see that the world didn't stop. Something shifted that liberated him.
You can be the best player in the world, but unless you link somehow to your kid, to the dreams that he had, it just doesn't fully work. And what Messi has managed to do is to reconnect with that guy that had a dream that was a long time ago. He said it, I want to win the World Cup. That's the Messi that we saw in Qatar too.
He must have realised that the clock's ticking. He must have known that, actually, if I'm going to do this, I've got to do it. And that was the thing about watching Messi at this World Cup. Every game that I saw him, you're thinking, is this the last time I see him? In football, in this thing that we've invested so much time, so much emotional energy, so much intellectual energy in following, he's the best we've seen at this thing you've cared about for so long. And to know that that might be ending, this might be the last time you see him. Yeah, that for me, for fans, for journalists, that was a huge thing. So what it must be for him, I think that's almost unimaginable.
Leo, for a while now, has understood that he's a player of moments, but the best moments in the World Cup were the ones in which he was involved.
Messi. Guardiola's got back at him. Will he be able to stay with him? No. Messi gets through, and Argentina have three. Alvarez has got his second, made by the master.
He knows he's not going to pick up on pace, but how can he? Well, by just creating mini battles on the way to the last pass. Genius.
And it will be Argentina to return here on Sunday in a bid to be crowned world champions.
Saber que quería ganar, es un animal de competición, él quiere ganar. Pero cuando hace falta recurrir a a su amor propio, a su compromiso con la selección. Lo ha hecho y ha demostrado que bueno, es la bandera más grande que podemos tener.
Lo último que te voy a decir no es una pregunta, sino solamente te quiero decir, se viene una final del mundo y si bien todos queremos ganar la Copa, quiero decirte que más allá del resultado, hay algo que no te va a sacar nadie. Atravesaste, marcaste la vida de todos y es eso que para mí es más grande que cualquier Copa del mundo y eso no te lo va a sacar nadie. Es un agradecimiento por un momento de felicidad tan grande que le hiciste vivir a tanta gente. Ya lo tenés, así que gracias, capitán.
Muchísimas gracias, la verdad que lo sentí durante todo este tiempo, el cariño de la gente, que este grupo fue un ejemplo del principio a fin y ojalá se nos dé, ¿no? Pero el fútbol puede pasar de todo.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Dale, lo mejor.
Yeah. Amazing, was like magical. The World Cup football is a so big passion since I was a child, and to have the opportunity to be next to him in that special moment before the final of the World Cup, I just want to say to him that it was enough. It's gonna be an amazing story without winning too. He already did something for our country so powerful, so powerful. He's like an example for all the child in Argentina.
It's wonderful to see that career panned out over 2 decades. So wonderful, to the point I think that most of the world wanted Messi to win the World Cup. It wasn't Argentina favourites, it was just Messi. We want Messi to win it.
We all knew that's the World Cup for Messi. It's destiny.
It's only one more step to make the dream reality.
Messi have found the perfect mental state to win a World Cup.
Many players said it before the World Cup. We want to win it because of him.
Todos sabemos lo que hizo, lo que hace, lo que significa para el fútbol a nivel mundial.
I went into the game super confident, you know, we were dancing and singing on the bus on the way to the stadium.
Y el momento final, bueno, fue un momento inigualable, único. Es un momento que para mí va a quedar para siempre.
I think with international football, games can become much more about one individual against another individual. And so obviously this was Messi v Mbappe.
The Sorcerer and the Apprentice. And that's exactly what we got.
And the beauty of it all is that there are many stories that could be told, but we don't know which one will be written.
And what a game that was.
Yeah, it's the greatest World Cup final has ever been.
The best game I've ever seen.
Greatest international game I think I've witnessed.
In a football game, you talk about drama, action, emotion. It was everything that you could expect for a football game.
Argentina were, by a massive margin, the better side in the first half.
Down goes Di Maria, penalty Argentina. Messi scores.
Argentina were all over them, all over the pitch.
Totally one-sided.
Messi
Turns it out to Alvarez, who gets it through, and that's McAllister looking at Di Maria.
And you thought that was it.
And then
10 minutes to go, breakaway, penalty. It all changed.
After Messi has given the ball away.
Messi's been robbed by Coman. Mbappe gets the return!
You're thinking then, Messi's blown his own World Cup final.
2-2. But again, you could see the players' faces.
Y nada, era seguir, la mentalidad de seguir porque era la final y había que continuar, que no terminaba el partido ahí. Después cuando me tocó salir, desde el banco, desde afuera, se sufre mucho más.
And then the extra time, I think, was the best extra time I've ever seen. It was just madness.
There's Messi. Messi wants it again. Lloris in the way. And the referee has pointed to the middle and said goal.
And then you thought, that must be it now.
There is another change around here, a France penalty.
More drama to come and another penalty.
In the biggest game of all.
And then even after that, it could have been one. It was like one in.
Colombo is in! Martinez with the save!
Oh my God, he was free. That's a good one.
And they went straight down the other end. And
here they go again! Martinez waits in the middle! That had to be!
It was one of the most exciting, thrilling, tremendous games I've ever seen.
And there's more to come, because the 22nd World Cup final has gone to penalties.
In many ways, the most impressive thing about Argentina at the World Cup was they had the mental resilience to keep coming back. So they did it in the quarter-final, and the same thing in the final twice. It was the famous Alf Ramsey line after 90 minutes for the 66 final. You've won it once, now go out there and win it again. Well, this was, you've won it twice, now go out there and win it again.
When it came down to penalties, we had Emiliano Martinez, who he's got that skill. In a penalty shootout, you know, it's an arm wrestling. Emiliano will put the team ahead, so the pressure was on them all the time.
The first one, I didn't do anything, like nothing, just good luck, and that's it.
Mbappe will go first for France, and Mbappe will score for France 3 times on the spot. Whatever you can do, I will endeavour to do as well, is Lionel Messi's message. And he rolls it in. Well, that's stylish. That's incredible. At this time, this occasion.
The next one is the one, you know.
Saved by Martinez! The first cheers are Argentina's.
I think that he enjoyed penalties. Such an strange personality that he says, like, here I am, now is my moment. Penalties are my time.
The third one is a pressure pen. That's the one that you need to I need to do something, you know.
Martinez has thrown the ball away. He's done that before. This is all part of his penalty routine. Make them work. Unbelievable.
People saying, "Oh, do you practice that dance?" No, I never dance the way I dance after the second pen they miss. Never in my life. You know, that's me. Sometimes I'm a child on the pitch. I don't see what's gonna happen next, you know.
He became like a specialist penalty saver. Like he did against Holland, he saved the first ones against the French. And that put the pressure on the French. They miss, we score. They miss, we score. And it came down to Gonzalo Montiel, you know, to deliver that last kick.
This for the World Cup. It's Argentina!
Sabía muy bien de lo que habíamos conseguido. A mi manera, ver a mis jugadores, ver a mi cuerpo técnico, a mi gente llorar de alegría. Para mí fue espectador de lujo estar sentado en el banco y verlos a ellos.
I cried a little bit. It was mad. I never thought about living a moment like this.
I was only 1 year old when Argentina won in '86. At the age of 38, I can see that I saw Argentina win the World Cup.
In the streets, in the homes, in the hearts. It was absolutely fantastic.
Pero no, en ese momento que lo mete es un momento, no sé, difícil de describir con palabras lo que uno siente y no sé si es que se te cruzan mil cosas o no se te cruza nada en la cabeza.
We were waiting this moment that Messi has that trophy in his hands.
Quiero ser campeón mundial. Dale campeón, dale campeón, dale campeón, dale campeón, dale campeón, dale campeón, dale campeón.
We would talk to each other, drinking mate, drinking champagne, singing all the way to Argentina. It was just happiness, you know, and everyone enjoyed it.
Five million people filled the streets of Buenos Aires. The Argentinian society became divided, you know. And I think this World Cup kind of brought everybody together.
Because of the happiness. Everybody was happy. Everybody. When do you think that happened in your life, in your country? With what? In my country, with a World Cup. Everyone is happy. It's like that, I swear.
You're seeing in front and you see like ants, you know, white and blue ants. And you can see people on top of the trees, and it's just lovely, lovely.
We are crazy about football, so imagine a celebration like that in Buenos Aires. It's been real chaos.
Sí, bueno, se me pone la piel de gallina, la verdad que cuando te pones a pensar en esas cosas, hay gente en el mundo que nunca va a entender eso, cuando la podemos volver a repetir.
Argentina's never had a moment like that.
Sos parte de la historia, te sentís así, te enorgullece, te pones a pensar que...
No me pongo a pensar, de verdad que no. No. Prensa, no me levanto a la mañana pensando, che, hoy soy campeón del mundo y mañana otra vez no. La verdad que, pero sí que es verdad que haber visto a la gente cómo se vio, ya eso a mí ya te llena. No, lo siguiente, pensar en uno, creo que es secundario.
The third star is there. These lads are part of history.
This bunch, led by Messi, they are so different and influential of the way Argentina plays international football.
That group of players, that group of people, they're all special.
It's not just about winning the World Cup, it's what we done in the process, you know. Beating the champions in the Copa America after 28 years, beating the champions of Europe at Wembley in a good style of football, and beating the World Cup champions in Qatar after losing the first game. It will be down to one of the best World Cups ever.
It's mad to think that I'm a World Cup champion, that I won the World Cup alongside Messi.
The light shone on him just performing.
Whatever has happened in that final or even in the tournament, for me, Messi's now indisputable.
Messi's legacy would be to be as big as Maradona in the pantheon of the football gods.
He has to be up there as a number one, and then the rest.
He's won absolutely everything now in the game.
Messi has won so much for 15 years. Nobody in the world ever has done that.
You get to your 5th World Cup, and finally, after all the misfortune, all the pratfalls, everything that's gone wrong, finally you win it. It's the perfect ending.
There's nobody that compares with Lionel Messi.